What's up, racing fans? This is Keith with Each and Every Stride, special live edition of the Penn Mile Stakes Day live here tonight on a Wednesday night. Thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, we've had to wait a long time for this one because this day has been rescheduled twice already. But it's a go, it looks like, for a tweet that the Penn Racing put out today. So it's going to be this Friday, June 27th. Post time at 5 p.m. I'm going to be going over 4 stakes races on the turf. A lot of great big fields, interesting horses that I've looked at, have spent multiple hours. So look forward to interacting with the chat and let me know what your best bet is as well. So it's going to be Penn Mile Day for the stakes action this Friday, June 27th in Grantville, Pennsylvania. Let's go over some of the horses here, and I'm going to pull up the PPs and let's see who's joining us in the chat. We got Ross. Thank you so much. You lived up to your word on Twitter. Appreciate it so much, my man, joining me. And yeah, I said, why not? Let's go live and talk some horses and some angles. And I love to hear your angles as well. So thanks for joining me on Each and Every Stride YouTube channel. And you hit that thumbs up button below. Really appreciate that support. And I'm going to be coming out with some more content too. It's going to be Haskell Stakes before you know it in a couple of weeks in Monmouth Park on July 19th. So before that, let's build our bankroll though with the Penn Mile Day. Let's pull up some PPs here. Man, this was interesting. 4 stakes races. I'm going to go race 3, race 4, race 5, and of course, race 6, the big Penn Mile for 3-year-olds on the turf. And interesting, really, thought there was some interesting horses, especially trying turf for the first time. A lot of horses coming off of long layoffs too. So had to really dig into the PPs. So I actually Formulator really helped me out with this a lot. So let's talk about it. So we got Friday, June 27th. They've already, like I mentioned, had to reschedule a couple of times. The weather looks a little iffy, but it says light rain, kind of, thunderstorms. I think with this heat, with the heat wave that we've had here on the East Coast, maybe, even if they get a thunderstorm, that thing will probably dry out in an hour. But we got all the top jockeys coming in too, and the connections. So let's talk about it. It's a Penn National race 3. So they do have 2 races before this. It looks like we got it looks like the optional claimer and then another sprint on the turf there. But I'm going to start with race 3. Let's talk about it. Let's pull up. So this is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. Really some interesting horses here. We got the Lippard Stakes. So this is a race that actually a lot of these runners ran in last year. So this is race 3 Friday at Penn National for the big stakes day. I'm going to be going over each horse. So each horse here on the Each and Every Stride YouTube channel. And I just want to say real quick that, I'm even going to be capping horses that are 30-1, just real quick, go through them, pros and cons of each horse. We got Zulu Kingdom racing, entered in the Penn Mile. So I'm really looking for this grade 1 winner to even, to make a move forward. And you never know, could be racing in Saratoga and maybe even California at the end of the year in the Breeders' Cup. Well, let's talk about Getaway Palace. Let's talk about Getaway Palace. I actually really like this horse. Kind of went a little back and forth on her. Let's talk about the conditions a little bit more before that. We got the, fillies and mares, 3 and up. And these are Pennsylvania breds. A lot of horses that have actually faced each other. Getaway Palace. Let's pull up some notes here. And let me know your best bets too in the chat as well. Actually zoom it in here a little bit for you. All right. Got to be able to read my notes, right? It was about 50 or some horses that I had to cap. Let's see here. Appreciate everybody joining here on the Each and Every Stride special edition live. So I really like the inside speed of Getaway Palace. Now, if you look, this horse is 1 on the lead, 1 from the 11 post, even far a couple, I like that. Can win from the outside. Now, with DQ'd, this horse was DQ'd on July 24th. July 26th at Penn. I've watched this race several times because you have another horse, Corin, in this as well. It was kind of a light bump. I really didn't know if it was a DQ warranted there, but this horse has speed. Now, speed is dangerous at Penn National on the turf. I like the inside. I don't know if Getaway Palace is actually going to get the lead. And if you look on September 16th in my notes here, this horse was actually behind two horses rated. But let's see the distance on that day. Let's see. Okay, I'm just looking this here. Yeah, this was here. Now, this was 7.5 furlongs on the good turf at Park. So obviously we're going a little further here with a mile and 1/16 on the turf here. I haven't really seen too many turf races at Penn this year. I hope that they've done some work on that turf course and of all the rain and now the heat wave that we got. But I think Getaway Palace is interesting. I really do. I think the inside speed. Now it comes down to, can this horse actually get the distance? Now, he did win at this distance, but that was the DQ back on July 26th. So I didn't know if it really warranted that DQ. He's going to be around my third choice here. You see, I got him in a couple of the underneath plays here. I really like the speed from the inside for Getaway Palace. So he's going to be one I'm going to be factoring. She's going to be factored for me for sure. Let's talk about Stern Chaser. This is actually last year's winner in the Lippard Stakes. So this is race 3, Penn National on Friday. This horse, she did win this stakes race, this exact stakes race last year. 8-1 morning line. Hasn't won a race since. So has gone to Gulfstream. Really off form right now, though. I mean, it was a seventh, and a sixth. And, you were on the synthetic. Now you went back to the turf. So obviously that was a prep for this one. I just don't know. I don't even know if she's really quick enough to get the lead. And she kind of seems like she's the lead type for Stern Chaser. So I just don't know if the race really sets up well for her. And, the jockey did ride 2 back, need the lead type, I wrote. And, I just think that come back to Penn, back to the win last year in the stakes. Could that help? I'm not going to bank on it for Stern Chaser. So I'm going to pass on Stern Chaser. I think she will show speed, but won't get the lead. And then I just see in a lot of these, if she doesn't get the lead, especially recently, not great form. Let's talk about Nature's Candy. So I'm going to pull this up here. Yep, Nature's Candy is an interesting horse. I mean, we actually see a lot of these horses coming in great form on the dirt sprinting. This is a mile and 70 win back to back for Nature's Candy, 6-1 morning line. It's kind of dangerous. I mean, can Stalk show speed? Now, this is going to be another one that's going to show speed. There's a lot of speed in this race, so that's why I like a horse on the outside. But, only try at this distance on turf. The horse blew the start, was fractious when they opened up the gates. And last time won as the 1-5 favorite on the dirt. There's a lot of ifs here for me, though, because, look, won at Delaware, actually did not win, went this 1 1/16 on the turf. That was the last time this horse she ran on the turf, and was kind of a distant 5th. Now, this was the one that I was saying had the tough start in the late game. Hard to gamble on that, though, right? 6-1 that she's going to actually all of a sudden take back to the turf. In great form on the dirt, though, but I'm going to pass on this big turf race. Let's see if I can keep up with the chat here. I don't want to ignore you guys as well, too. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We're going to try to keep it at swift pace because we got about 50 horses to go through here. But let me know your best bets, too. There's some standouts, I think, throughout the card. Let's talk about number 4 here. And yep, Dancing Chime, 15-1. Now, this horse did win in the slop at last time. It's never raced on the turf, though. So I'm seeing that a lot. Some of these horses, I don't fault these connections. They are racing at Penn. This horse has been racing exclusively at Penn, as you see in the PPs. And I'm just going to try the turf for the first time. The sire. So I like to look at these horses that, if they're trying turf for the first time, you got to look at the sire, the dam, this pedigree. And only 6% on turf routes. So this is considered a turf route. Let's go back to this distance of 1 mile and 1/16. So a lot of firsts for me here, right? First time turf, not a great sire on turf. Slow workouts coming in too. I'm just, 19 out of 19, 36 out of 36. No, granted, this horse is pretty much a slow worker in general. She is, but I'm just going to pass 15-1. Not for me in this big stakes race. Now, this is a horse I kind of think that is interesting, at least underneath, has faced a lot of these horses like Getaway Palace. I was talking about the number 1. This is Karina, 8-1 morning line. Now, one off the layoff in this spot. So this is kind of the layoff spot of June 15th, 2024 at this distance. So if you think that the form cycle off the layoff, and you get a Concepcion is the jockey. I thought that was interesting there. First time jumping aboard. I think this horse has got a look 8-1, good post. I like how the horse rated too. I'm looking for a horse that it could actually, because there's a lot of speed in this race that can kind of just rate. What rate means is kind of just be right off the pace, kind of stalk. And I think that this horse has got a look, really upfront speed with stalking ability. And I just think that, listen, this horse has won both ways, has won, wire to wire, two back. That was at this same distance at Parks. So I do like that, but got to be versatile, right? So I don't think you're going to go wire to wire with the speed that I've been talking about so far. So I just think that, listen, I actually wrote here, won't happen here, but the head tilted twice before the last start. So I watched this replay and the horse was just not ready to break at all. It was a light bump at the start too. I think she's got talent though. And she's a 6-year-old mare. And let's see, let's just take a quick look at the pedigree here. If we see anything. Yeah, I mean, it's as good. I mean, you got 4 wins, 1 second, and a third, and 24 tries on the turf. So that's good for 16% at an average around 8.4 furlongs. So, I mean, not bad. We're going a longer distance around that. So I think this horse has got at least a look underneath. So I like her for a price, 8-1 for Karina. And let's see who you guys have in the chat here. Take a quick break. Let's look here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Let's go. Yeah, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that, Penny Fairweather, Penny Feather. Really appreciate you joining. And yeah, the live streams are always fun on Sports Money and all the personalities, the gambling personalities. I've learned a lot just from handicapping with them. So cheers. Thank you for joining. And Ross says he's been to 41 Haskells in a row. Wow, that's impressive. I actually went to my first one 2 years ago. I should have wore the hat. I got the Parks Derby hat on here, but it's going to be a great. I mean, they've been talking about. I don't think journalism's going to go. I think that the horse is probably going to need a break right after running all 3 legs of the Triple Crown. But there's interesting is with journalism and those connections said that there's really no 3-year-old races at Del Mar that are good, prep for obviously the big one for the Breeders' Cup later this year. I don't know. I'd be a lot to ship that horse, in 25 days from now, but I think you still get a good field. And Ross likes the 3 and the 6 going to be on the lead. Yeah, I think speed at Penn is very dangerous. But there's a lot of speed in this race. So I was looking for somebody maybe just off the pace. And then there is a closer I'm going to be talking about I really like. And the 2 will go forward. I think the 2's got to look also. Let's talk about Jean Marie. Now, I looked at this horse a lot. Interesting. Going to be a lot of speed, though. Look at this. I mean, it's 115 early time form U.S. pace. So so far we got 115. This is why I like this horse, because she's kind of middle in the pack and hopefully make a late run. And then this horse is just going to be not for me, not for the turf right now, but this is 107 here. A 92. This horse is, as I mentioned, Stern Chaser is kind of a need the lead type to me in the PP's off form. Not for me in this one. That's why I really like Getaway Palace. Get away from that one post, 6-1. It'd be interesting to see what that price is on the number 1 post time. Now with Jean Marie, only try on the turf was 7.5 furlongs, and that was to Getaway Palace. So this was a lot of these horses have faced each other, and this was back on September 16th, 2024. And I go to the Parks Derby every year too, so I've probably even seen these horses race. Now I wasn't really too impressed with her effort there though. Angled out, didn't really show much. It was actually the 3rd place finisher, Pleasant Dreams, almost caught her at the end. So I just, she's going to show speed and, I respect that. But let's see the workouts. Good workout coming in. Looks like June 10th. I just, I don't know. Going to show good early speed, but the late speed, that was the concern in that one race. So I don't know if she's going to be able to hold on at the end, but definitely more of an underneath, if anything, for me. Going to pass though on number 6. Let's talk about number 7, So Fully Sue. So this is race 3 at Penn on Friday for the big Penn Mile Day. Good rally each race. I like how this horse can at least pass a lot of horses. You see that in the PPs here, and hasn't raced on turf in 2 years though. So I looked at horses. My main angle for this day was I want turf, past performances on turf with speed, and you can't be too far back at Penn. This is going to be a little too far back for me though. 65 early, and also raced on June 2nd. So I mean, that's only a couple of weeks ago. Again, a good second, rallied, but that was a 1 mile on the dirt at Parks. Just going to pass for me on this big race. This is a horse that's interesting. Came in second in this exact race last year. This is number 8, Lady Out of the Blue, 8-1 morning line out of Air Force Blue. This horse she loves Penn. I mean, so if you want to at least have that angle with a horse that likes Penn in the money, ran second in this race last year, can win on a yielding turf course. So who knows? We might get a little precipitation on Friday. Everything looks like a go right now after 2 attempts, 2 postponements. But a longer layoff. This was interesting, guys, is that it's a longer layoff than last year's cycle. So let's look at that. So we're sitting at now in the middle of June. And this horse had a layoff of, let's see. So yeah, February to May. So that's actually not bad at all. Only a couple months there, and came in second in this exact Lippard Stakes. Now you got from November to June. I think she really needs one. Yep, I wrote may need one. So I'm gonna pass on that. Number 8. Number 9, Dr. Abby. This horse is gonna show some late speed, but at the same time, ran in this race last year, trailed throughout. I think would just need a huge form reversal. I don't like this horse just from that perspective, is that this race last year was not impressive to me. When he ran in the slop last 2 times out, and just hasn't run. See, look, hasn't run in this race since the last time on the turf at Penn. I can't gamble on that this horse all of a sudden is going to take to the turf, magically. And I think we'll just actually be a little too far back to get it done. All right, let's check here. We're almost done with race 3, and we're going to keep it moving here. Let's look here. And I actually had to look up how to actually pronounce this name. Let's see. Pachelbel. I don't know. Kind of butchered it a little bit. But number 10 here, 8-1 morning line. Maybe let me know if I got that right. It looks like almost like Taco Bell, right? But Paco Bell, something like that. Let's see. We'll go with it. I like it. This horse is something that's got a couple of different angles that at least I noticed. I'll share with you real quick. Is that but 0-2 on the turf lifetime, in great form, but sprinting on the dirt. So I've seen that with a couple of horses that are in great form. Have won 1-1 was in third, and then 1-1. You get Carmouche again. So Kendrick Carmouche will be aboard. But the sire's only 6% on turf routes. Great workouts coming in, though. This horse has got a lot of races. Wow. Look at these workouts, though, guys. You got a bullet of 1 out of 13 on just recently. So I like that this horse actually had a workout the other day on 5 furlongs at Parks, and then, runs a nice 1 out of 5. Not bad. I mean, this horse is actually working lights out. Another bullet here. I wouldn't fault you for at least underneath. It's a small sample size, but they're actually trainer jockey combo is 40%. And, nice workouts. It's a lot of ifs for me for the first time going with this turf. So look at all these races, and hasn't ran on turf since all the way back at Parks of last year. All right, so this is going to be my number 1 pick, but let's check the chat here real quick. All right, cool. Let's check it out here real quick for you guys. All right, good stuff. All right, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button here on each and every stride. We're capping the Lippard Stakes, Penn National here for Friday. Big stakes day for Penn Mile Day. I want to talk about this horse. So this is The horse here that I really like, the big one is Princess Jovinka. Say that a couple of times, right? Oh, Javonica. That's it. Javonica. All right, good. So Princess Javonica, morning line favorite. So this is the horse that I think this is the race that sets up for her. She's actually the oldest horse in the field, an 8-year-old mare. I think this is the spot though. Look, they've actually faced each other a lot. And you see all these races here that they actually in the past performances. Now, this is second off of the layoff. If it's a yielding turf course, which I hope it's not going to be, I actually look to kind of downgrade her a little bit. But if it's firm and everything's to go, I think it's a big upgrade. And she seems to like, just running at big odds at 17-1 in this race last year. Now, the difference is that she actually got a prep race at this distance. And I think that's going to be huge. That race on June 6th at Laurel. I watched it a couple of times. Now, I think it's just a race that she kind of needed. She was definitely way too close to the pace here, as you see in the PPs. This horse is going to be coming kind of mid-pack. You get the top jockey aboard in Flavian Pratt. So Flavian Pratt picks the number 11. I think this horse could really just dominate. I mean, not dominate. I guess maybe win by a couple lengths, but I think this could be the winner right here. And I like her. I think that it's going to be the second off the layoff angle. She's showed the form before. 8-year-old mare. I think she's got one up her sleeve here to get it done. Going to be my top pick. Not going to be too far back, but at the same time stalking. Now, the 11 post, you got Pratt aboard, which I kind of like that. So at least he'll move this horse over and kind of hopefully save a little ground. I think the number 11 is a big look here. Going to be my top pick in this one. Now, just talk about this horse real quick is Anoit. I actually really like this horse, but this horse just raced the other day, June 21st. So this was the second off the layoff angle, but that's actually already happened, guys. So that just happened the other day of June 21st. It was a mile on the turf, and this horse did run third place, and the odds were 10-1. So that was going to be my angle. I just don't even know if this horse is going to run. You're looking at an angle of, let's look here, 1 through 7 days. This is for Kelly Breen. Carrie Breen. I mean, she just this is such a small sample size. I'm not even sure if this horse is going to run. I did like this horse though, if she didn't run the other day. All right, let's talk about it a little bit further here. So let's talk about the next race. I'm going to check the chat. All right, I'm just going to fix something momentarily. 1 second. I'm literally going to be right back 1 second. We're going to talk about the next race. All right, back in business. Good stuff. Thanks so much. So let's check out it's gonna be race 4. So yeah, let's before I move on from that, just want to say real quick with the Lippard Stakes, I'm on a 11-1-5, kind of 11 I'm pretty strong on. I like the Getaway Palace as a second, third pick there. I'm gonna be kind of boxing these 3 horses, and then I like number 5, Karina. Let me know who you like in the chat here too. This is going to start off the stakes action at Penn National Race 3 on Friday. All right, good stuff. Let's check out race 4 here. So this is the Alphabet Soup handicap. So $75,000. It's gonna be a good race here. I mean, this to me was the betting race of the day. This is gonna be interesting for sure. I'm gonna talk about these horses real quick for you. So this is gonna be on the turf, 1 mile and 1/16 miles there. Now it looks like we got the Pennsylvania breds again. So 3 and up, and a lot of angles here to talk about. So let's check it out. Okay. and let me know who you like here too. So we got this one coming up here. Let's check it out here. We got Travesso, 21 morning line, back to the turf, draws the rail. That's a problem for me with this horse. I know out of Kitten's Joy, one with this same jockey, Ruiz, before at this distance and turf at Parks, but just facing much tougher here. Draws the rail. I just don't like the draw there at all. Going to pass on number one. Let's talk about number two, Dylan's Ruby. Consistent jockey trainer combo this year, 24%. Never been on the turf though. So that's a big question mark I've seen with a lot of these horses. Lots of first to take on in a big stakes race. Distance, first time on turf. No way for me on Dylan's Ruby. 10-1 morning line, though, and in great form. Another horse that's in great form on the dirt, but going to show some good early speed. But I just, for me on the turf in this big, stakes race, going to pass to last at the end. I'm a little concerned about that. Let's talk about number three, 12-1 morning line. Let's look here. Just want to make sure I got this here for you. Great. So yeah, this is the speedball of the race. I mean, for number three, this is 12-1. Look how many races this horse has too. And raced a mile on the turf back in 2023 at Penn and then at Keeneland. So that kind of caught my eye a little bit. I just non-factor fifth both times in those races. I mean, this is a long time ago too. This is 2 years ago. I'm looking at the turf races more than I just can't really get down with this horse in another horse that's in good form on the dirt. Now faces, much tougher horses on the turf. Are they going back to the original plan, right? The original plan of this horse is actually well meant to be on the turf in the synthetic in the beginning. I just now we're going back to that plan. I'm going to actually pass on number three in this one. So let's talk about Fierce and Strong, 4-1, second choice on the morning line. Now, this horse did win sprinting on turf at Pimlico, but now back to the route, one with the wire job. So I said, gate to wire. That's what that really means. And I just not going to get that same trip here, though. Not quick enough as some of the other ones I'm going to be talking about. Now, you get Tyler Connor aboard, which is a good local jockey. I think this, this here. Yeah, Tyler, I mean, he's going to give this horse a ride. I really think that this horse is going to get a good ride. I'm a little concerned with the distance here of going back after the sprint, back to this 1 mile and 1/16 on the turf. For 4-1, this is a short price for me to take and, won't get that same trip I was saying, like wire to wire that one time. And I just think similar move back on May 9th, 2024 to May 31st, 2024. It hasn't rated at a route distance for a win. So that's something I was looking for somebody that I don't think this horse is just going to wire him in this race. So I don't total pass for me on Fierce and Strong. I know that this is an interesting horse, but I just don't know. Going back to the long distance here, and you see this one at Laurel was just not really that great of an effort. It gave way. So at a short price, I'm going to pass. This is going to be my number one pick here is Bartlett. So let's talk about him. Let's check this out for Bartlett. And let me know who you like in the comments too. Appreciate everybody tuning in and definitely hit that like button. Appreciate that support. Bartlett is faced deterministic. That was a cool angle that I saw. I've watched this race at Naira. It was a speed and fade, but it's better than it looks though. If you watch this replay, let's look at it here. I'm not going to actually play it just because we're on, we're live and everything, but let's see. It was 1 mile and 1/8 on the turf. It was the Hill Prince grade 3, ran an 81 for the first time on turf. That's not bad. Look at this. 1-1-1-1-1. And then had to settle for fifth. It was kind of a late rush for everybody at the end. Deterministic did win. I think his horses faced deterministic. This definitely, in the PPs, this is one of the top horses you'll see. And this horse kind of bumped the brake a little bit. It was kind of an awkward start and then tired. Now you have another angle where this horse comes back at Laurel on April 12th in the mud, in the slop, 7 furlongs with Frankie Pennington aboard still in the Frank Wiley. Now it looks like this horse is another speed and fade, and this is the slop. So I think that this horse is interesting, guys. I really do. I think the horse is trying now. Out of all the horses that are trying something else for the first time, I think this horse is kind of dangerous because it's going to show speed, and it's not a horse that could hopefully not just do the same of a speed and fade. So you got a little bit of a speed and fade angle on the previous two, and kind of can this horse rate off of the three? So can Bartlett kind of rate off of this speed ball three here? That's the trip I'm kind of looking for. I know the four is going to be involved in that speed as well, but I like five as my top pick. And let me know who you guys like too. Let's check it out. All right, good stuff. All right, let's check it out. So let's see if anybody put any plays in the chat here. No plays. All right, let's go. Everybody's a little quiet right now, but won't be quiet on Friday though, right? Because this is the big money making day. Cheers, everybody. All right, let's look. Yeah, it's my top pick, Bartlett, 6-1. Let's look at one more angle on this horse here. Nothing there. So nothing with the dam as far as this kind of distance. I'm taking a shot though. I think that this horse, if he can learn something from this speed and fade, kind of the last two. Look at this though. I mean, you got a lot of speed here for this horse, and you got Pennington who knows him, and John Service. And look at these workouts. Look at the last workout for Bartlett. You got 1 out of 20. So I like this horse a lot. He's gonna be my top pick. Let's talk about Take the Pledge. Not a great breaker. One last out going a mile on the dirt at Penn. Not a good breaker, though. Look, off slow, step slow, off slow, bump start. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't trust. It's going to be too far back, you see? So pass for me on the 6. Number 7 was a little interesting to me, but the trainer's 0 for 16 with horses that have won in the previous start. So that's an angle that's a little odd there, but you're going to think that it's going to be 1 for 17, but best races are on the dirt for this horse. So if you look at the PPs, the best ones are on the dirt. Now, won last time as a bomb on the turf. So this horse did win at a mile at Pimlico. I was not visually impressed with that race, though. I watched the replay. There was a lot of horses coming late. I just don't think that was a strong race, and I'm not going to factor sharp tones. I've heard a couple other podcasts that actually like this horse, and you get a little bit of a less weight here too. I'm going to pass. I wasn't visually impressed with that last win. And let's talk about the number 8. This is a bomb here, and off form the last 2 races. Needs a form reversal. I mean, has done pretty well at Penn in the past, though. If you look overall, I mean, has a win here at Penn in June of 2024. But the dam's pretty good. I mean, the dam's actually 18% with winners, 20-1. I just the last couple of races, I got to pass. Just not in great form right now. So let's talk about number 9, interesting horse, F35. This is Irad Ortiz Jr. jumps aboard for for the Russells, and so that's an angle right there. This horse won 70 cents on the dollar at Laurel last time. This horse is going to be, I think this horse is going to be kind of chalky for this race, but I like Bartlett in this spot, that number 5 I was telling you about. But this trainer is good with the previous winners, so back-to-back winners. This horse is with the trainer, Russell, with Brittany Russell, 23%. And it came from the fairground circuit. Those races are definitely much tougher here. Now, was racing at Penn before in Pennsylvania. I'm not really thrilled with these workouts. Let's look. We got June 22nd, just the other day, kind of a slow workout. I know it's only 6 horses, maybe just a kind of a little tightener, right? To get this horse fit. And just kind of coming off a couple of slow workouts. Irad, this horse is going to get so bet with Irad aboard. Going to be my second choice, though. Going to try to beat number 9. will probably be involved in some exactas and tries, but not my top pick. And let's talk about a horse I'm kind of interested in at a price is number 10 Fletcher. This is actually 10 to 1 morning line. Another horse that will show speed from the outside. Now, this horse has got to angle over and save some kind of ground. That's the key. The distance is a concern since the races haven't been that strong at this distance. And I'm kind of going with the speed and fade angle a couple times with these horses. Now, if you look at a couple of these PPs, let's look. At least has some experience at this distance recently, and this is going to be the second off the layoff for Fletcher. I think this horse is going to need a really good ride from this jockey here. And you get 116 pounds, a little less than, like, look at this. You're getting 7-pound difference. I'm not a huge pound guy, but this is something you go at least notice here, these kind of turf routes. Fletcher will actually be my third choice. And Major Thomas, tough post, not enough speed, just too slow for the outside post from what I see. And it has a few in the money finishes at this distance and surface, but both performances, the horse didn't rate and lost. So both wins. Let's look. Let's see. We got a mile here at Penn on the firm and one. And the post was difficult for me, and we'll just have to show kind of a new dimension. So let's see who you guys like here as well. Let's check it out. Cheers. Appreciate you joining Conflict Gaming. Thank you so much. And I was just trying to get my lighting right. It's a little, we've had this heat wave and I'm in New York. And, it's been lighter out. I had my shade open and then all of a sudden I turned a little red, but all good, guys. I look good enough. Appreciate you guys tuning in. This is the Each and Every Stride YouTube channel, and I'm doing some live handicapping for Penn National. It's going to be the Penn Mile Stakes Day for this Saturday, June 27th. First post is at 5 p.m. I'm capping the 4 turf stakes races in the middle of the card. Let's go, everybody. And let's move on to the Oaks. So it's going to be the Oaks for Penn National. Huge day. Oh, we're going to not go to the mile yet. The mile is an interesting race, though, I think. Let's talk about the Penn Oaks. It's for a nice purse of $150,000. And it's for 3-year-olds. I just think this is an interesting field, too. So let's talk about it. And put your plays in the chat as well. So Accent is, Great Britain here in the house. Now, this is a second-time starter. I like the performance, was coming off a win. So, broke the maiden in a special weight on debut. The dam has great numbers so far in the young career. So the dam of this horse, let's pull it up, is, wow, look at this. 6 winners out of 8 races. And then has a second place. So he got 75%. So that's a cool angle. I mean, for a young, horse like this, second-time starter trying this route distance, kind of interesting. And then let's see what else I said. This is the 8. This is a little bit further than, this is actually the 1 mile. Draws the rail, second-time starter. It's Pratt and Brown. So Flavian Pratt, Chad Brown will take money. In the end, it was just hard. I think that you're not going to get a great price. You might even get like 4 to 1 or something on this horse. I'm going to see as it goes a little bit closer. Not going to be one of my top picks, though, Accent, in this. I just think there's a lot of, you're drawing the rail. Though it was a good performance. You actually bumped at the start at Tampa and then just really did, kicked clear. I like that note, hid. That's funny. I have to watch that again. There was too many things that this horse is going to take a little too much money for me on the rail in this huge stakes race. One to kind of go back to. I want to go back to this horse. I might tweet some about this horse. So let's talk about number 2, 50 to 1. I don't know anybody else on YouTube or Twitter right now that's capping a 50 to 1 horse. I just wrote a couple of notes on this horse. Cool that the connections put this horse in. Tyler Connors aboard. Hasn't shown anything in 2 recent turf starts. Steady both times. So is this horse kind of making his own trouble? Look at this. Just was in great form, though. I mean, this was actually a turf winner They're at Colonial and before, but just look at this year has just not been up to par. That's why you're getting 50 to 1. You got the Tapit Bloodlines, which is kind of interesting. Let's look at the dam real quick. I got one winner in 5 starts in this kind of distance. 50 to 1. There's a reason 50 to 1 gonna pass, but maybe a horse will run a little better than expected. Let's talk about number 3. A horse that's kind of interesting is Love You Anyway, a four-time starter, debuted at this distance of 1 mile on the Fern Turf Course at Gulfstream, and won last out and broke the maiden. What's interesting about this horse is broke the maiden. No, I'm sorry, did not break the maiden. Came in third on debut. They put her in the Florida Oaks Grade 3. Comes in fifth. Not bad out of 11 horses. Then comes back with Saez at Keeneland and wins. But you're not getting Saez here. You're getting Concepcion. And now you're going back to the mile. I just at 7 to 2. Now you're going back to the original debut distance. I don't know. I mean, 7 to 2 is kind of a hard price to take. And I don't know if this horse is even going to go off 7 to 2. It might be a little bit higher than that. Now, had a wide trip, showed good speed. I don't know. I'm still kind of up in the air on this horse. Not going to be really one of my top plays, though. Love You Anyway. Love these horses, but definitely have to see what the tote board's going to tell us, too. Let's check with the chat what you guys are on. So Ross says the one will be a defensive use. We'll be using 3 to 1. I actually you kind of read my mind there because I was kind of talking myself into this horse after looking at this horse several times. Definitely going to be going back to Accent, the number 1, and taking a stronger look. Might have to be the one that kind of use defensively. You don't really want to get into that habit, right, as a horse player, but I think this horse is definitely interesting. Thanks for sharing. And yeah, looks like Conflict Gaming does like the 1 and the 9. So we're definitely going to get to that 9. One is, listen, 1 on debut impressively. You got the top connection. So 1 to watch. It's going to be interesting what the bettors think of the number 1. Let's talk about Raining Flowers. Well, hopefully, I mean, it's not going to be really raining too much. Hopefully some flowers for this horse, but you got Johnny V in town to ride for the number 4, 8 to 1 morning line. Now you throw away the last race on the slop last time. Look at this. We got all the turf races. Obviously, they took this one off and it was in the slop. I mean, not bad. A third place finish was only 5 horses. Won an allowance at this distance at Keeneland and would really need to improve to get a piece. I think that this horse's figures got to step it up a little bit in this kind of field. You don't want to be too far back, and even at this mile distance, and this is a concern for me, is the 52. I mean, doesn't break bad, but look, it broke last in this field, broke 5th. That was better. But look, it's 7th out of 9, 8 out of 8, 9 out of 10. I don't want any horses that are going to be that far back at Penn. You'll see on Friday the turf usually is very speed, got to be up front, or at least up front mid-pack. And speaking of being up front is number 5. This is the horse that's interesting, is that this horse is going to be a speedball. You got Irad Ortiz. You got the time form pace early of 120. Wow. Now, this horse has never ran at the mile on the turf. And, the workouts are very nice. I like the consistent workouts coming into it. Now, this horse did race on June 7th. I wrote a note here saying that I would have liked to kind of see maybe an additional workout after that. It's hard though, right? With the timing. I'm looking at a calendar over here. Is that, it's about 25 days. It's tough, right? To kind of bring a horse back for a workout there. But 3rd-time starter in the States, ran in Ireland before that. Now, do you like Irad Ortiz on a speed horse like this? I'm not sure about that. I think that it's going to be more of an underneath type play for me. Now, did face Nitrogen, I wrote in my comments, who's a nice horse, but this was only a 3-horse field in the grade 3. So it was only down to 3 horses. Was that enough? Was that enough kind of like the race like that this horse kind of needed for this big turf race? I don't know if he's going to last. But definitely this horse is going to get loose. It's kind of maybe kind of look like a Naira race a little bit, right? A horse out on the front end, taking him hopefully gate to wire for this horse, put the horse, put this field to sleep. But I think number 5, it's just for Irad on this kind of speed horse, I'm going to pass. Maybe my third, though. I do have it at least third, fourth, something like that. And let me know what you guys think of that 5 as well. Interesting horse, though. Appreciate everybody tuning in here on YouTube. I'm also live on X on my handle. So definitely give me a follow at Each Every Stride on X Twitter. Let's check. Yeah, we got people watching on YouTube. Thanks. This is actually kind of like my first time going live by myself on this channel, going live. I've made plenty of content for like the Kentucky Derby and those prep races. That was a lot of fun. I'm going to get back into making the content over the summer for the Haskell for sure coming up. Let's talk about Midway Memories. This is for Chad Brown and Manny Franco. And would you like to see? I mean, this is a horse that I'd like to see a little bit more speed in the beginning of these races. I kind of sound like a broken record for that angle, but this horse is kind of been shuffled a little bit in the back and draws it better now with the 6 posts. Gets out from the inside. This horse was in the 1 post and the 2 post on the first 2 races. That's an angle I do kind of like. The horse a little bit more drawn outside, but the 6 post broke the main last time out too. But I'm kind of going against that angle of breaking the maiden last time out and then being put into this stakes race. That's an angle I'm against these kind of horses. It's actually going to be for number 3. That was the reason why I wasn't sure. Now with the 3, you're going back to the mile distance, kind of against the 3 a little bit in this one. That's kind of the angle with the 6. I'm a little bit against the 6 as well. But let's talk about my top pick here. It's going to be Candy Quest. And so this is the 5-1 morning line for Mark Hasse, and Javier Castellano will be aboard. This horse will be making his 5th start of the season, 1 win and 1 second. And the number 9 I'm going to be talking about, Lorlean, did beat my top pick, number 7, Candy Quest, back on April 27. It's a rematch between these 2 horses. I like Candy Quest to kind of turn the tables. I've watched the replay of that last race. I'm going to get to this number 9, Lorlean, but Lorlean saved a lot of ground and had the perfect trip at the end, while Candy Quest was 2 or 3 pets off the rail. And then the number 9, Lorlean, that won the race, saved all the ground. So it was based on the trip of the number 9 beating the 7. And Candy Quest was able to get over to the rail finally, but the number 9 got that perfect trip and then passed a stubborn long shot. Dylan Davis is the jockey on Candy Quest that day of the race that I'm talking about. Didn't really even ask for much with Candy Quest. So I'm hoping this horse has kind of saved something in the tank here for the big Penn National Day. And this horse, let's look at the workouts, was 5 out of 46 horses going 4 furlongs in 49 seconds. So the horse came back well on the work tab. The dam of Candy Quest, that's Candy Crush, has 2 turf route winners in 10 starts. So I like Castellano and Casse as a team. I mean, they hit 15% with winners this year, and Casse himself is 17% with with this kind of angle of 31 to 60 day span of these horses off of the layoff. I like the post. I think we're going to get a stalking upfront trip. And I like Candy Quest as my top pick here in the Penn Oaks for Friday at Penn National. Let me know what you guys think of Candy Quest, but I think it's going to be a horse that is going to factor in, at least in the exacta. Let's check it out here. All right, so that was my top pick. I'm going to review it at the end, but that was a horse that I'm definitely interested in, Candy Quest. Let's talk about Love Poetry. This is a not a great start in the last effort. I think we'll kind of like the mile distance, though. This is a horse that's interesting, 6-1, picks up the angle of Jose Ortiz and Sherry DeVoe as 25% jockey trainer combo for this number 8. And hoping to got to be closer to the pace than last time, though. I mean, obviously, you brushed at the start and came on willingly. So look at this. Look how horrific of a start this was here. All the way in the back, came on for third with Flo as the jockey. I like the cutback to the mile. That was the key with this horse. I think the cutback's going to be helpful. I think this is a little deceiving, this number 52 of early pace, because look at all these other races. Now, listen, it was a 6-horse field. This horse breaks fifth, breaks ninth, breaks fifth on debut before. I think this horse has definitely got to show a little bit more upfront speed. I like Jose on this horse. So he's going to be my second pick for Love and Poetry. So I like these horses back to back, 7 and the 8 here in the Oaks. And let's talk about number 9. I was mentioning this horse, Lorien. I will show speed from the outside. I just think this horse got the perfect trip last time at the Big A at Aqueduct. I'm going to take a shot against. I think the 7's going to turn the tables on the 9. And never been drawn this far outside. I know these are young horses and never been the 9 post before. So it's kind of little new waters. You got Carmouche aboard for Graham Motion. Let's see how they're doing this year. Not much. I mean, it's just only a couple starts there that I see this year with the combo together. Let's see how this horse comes back on the work tab. Now, this horse does get a workout on the turf, which is good. And then on the 20th, 5 furlongs, 4 out of 12. Again, I'm just going with this angle of the last race. This horse got the perfect trip from what I've watched, even brushed the gate at the start. I didn't even really see that, but gamely, I kind of would disagree a little bit with that note. This is a favorite I'm going to try to beat on this card. I do have this horse third though, at least for third. So let's review my picks here. It's going to be kind of this combo, guys. I put it on the formulator of 7's going to be Candy Quest, my top pick. 8, Love and Poetry is going to be my second pick. And then I'm going to be using this 5, the Speedball I was talking about with Irad from Ireland, as like more of my third with the 9 underneath. So that's how I'm going to play this one for the Oaks. We're going to be talking about the Big Penn Mile Day. Get myself back on the full screen here. Yes, it's awesome live capping with you. I'm going to be doing more kind of shows like this, kind of live capping. It's the first time I've gone live by myself here hosting on my channel. So appreciate that support of everybody. I've got over 250 subscribers now. I couldn't even imagine that from starting this channel not even a year ago. So each and every stride on YouTube, definitely appreciate that support. Subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. Thank you so much. It really helps the algorithm with YouTube to recommend my content. So it's viewers like you that I want to keep on coming back for more. Let's check out the Big Penn Mile. So we've got 4 races here to cover, and this is the 4th race. So this is the big one that I want to talk about with States' Rights, number 1. So let's go over the conditions here. So it is the 3-year-olds on the turf for the Grade 3 Penn Mile Stakes. Post times at 7:45. So it's going to be quick. I mean, this card itself starts at 5 p.m. So before you know it, this is going to be the big stakes action, the huge Penn Mile. And let's see, we got a track record. Ooh, never know. Maybe that track record would be in question with the horse I'm going to be talking about shortly. And States' Rights. So this is Jose Ortiz. I was just talking about this angle of Jose Ortiz and Sherry DeVoe. They do well together at 25%. This horse does need to break better, though, from the 1 post. Much better. You can't be a slow breaker. Slow start last time out. That's not gonna fly in this big race on the 1 post. Burn the chalk a few times, I noticed. So look, it was even money, even money. Look at favorite the last 4 times, won this race, but has burned it the last 3 times. That's not a great sign coming into this race. And nice work tab. That's the thing I really like. Consistent work tab that this horse is coming into this race. Coming back from Keeneland. I do have this horse kind of third, at least an underneath play, maybe third, fourth. Got to do a little bit more handicapping on this horse, but I got to break better from that 1 post. Let's talk about Barbarian Runner. 10-1 morning line. Recently ran in the Delaware Derby. I mean, that was just recently on June 14th. And, was second place in that effort. That's a pretty quick turnaround, though, to come right back on, 15 days for this horse to run again, and has two starts on the turf, but many races this year. So that's another thing that this horse is coming back quick. And then you got one, two, three, four, five, six races already this year. Going to be a pass for me with the number two to even factor in the money. Let's talk about number three. See if I can actually pronounce this name. I'm going to attempt it. It's Paco Bell. Oh no, that's not Paco Bell. That was the other one. This is this is Panayotos. Oh, Panayotos. I know this is a Greek name. I had to look it up a little bit. We'll see. But I should have just said the number three. This is a 30-1 morning line. As you see my note right here, I just put pass. I just think that this horse is gonna go against it. Never been on turf, going to the mile. Ran good efforts before, but that was all sprinting on the dirt. It just 30-1. I'm gonna pass. Step slow last time too. Let's talk about a horse that is, I don't think it's gonna be a step slow at all. It's gonna be Irad on another speedball. So Irad Ortiz has got that number 5 I was talking about. Now you got Mibago, the number 4, 7-2 here in the Penn Mile. This is a horse that's gonna be another horse that I'm going to be just using underneath at most. 7-2. This is a horse that did face Zulu Kingdom. I want to talk about that race. Now, Vekoma has made such a big impact as a sire, but this is Vekoma's 17% on route starters in the career. This is more of an early on pedigree for sprinting. Now, this is 8 miles on the turf, so it's considered a route. And I just think that if you're going to look at the Zulu Kingdom race, I'm going to get to the big horse here soon. Zulu Kingdom beat this horse. Now, this horse made the field think about something because he came in the 1-1-1-1-1, and even towards the end was still on the lead, and then kind of faded to fourth, 13 lengths. So is it going to be something where the cutback with the speed with Irad? That's the angle I would probably use with this horse, but I'm going to kind of just use this horse maybe for another kind of fade underneath. I just think that can the cutback help? Not going to be one of my top picks. I want to talk about my top pick next, though. It's going to be, I'm going to talk about Zulu Kingdom. He's going to be sort of my top pick. I'll explain how I'm going to play this one is number 5, Out on Bail. This is a horse I'm actually very interested in to at least get into the exacta. So let's talk about Out on Bail. Trainer Michael Maker and Manny Franco team up. It's Tiz the Law is the angle for me, stretching out. Now, Tiz the Law is a sire that ran, in that 2020 Kentucky Derby. That year they had to switch everything around. He's made a big impact, though, Tiz the Law, especially on the turf. So there's a lot of firsts here. This is a horse that's stretching out. I think he'll appreciate the stretch out. And you got the Tiz the Law factor that I mentioned and doing very well on the turf. Currently hitting at 40% with runners to get in the money. So I like this horse to at least factor 1, 2, 3 in the trifecta. Going to be in all my exotic plays Out on Bail. I like the stretch out. I've watched a lot of the replays. There's a lot of speed signed up here in the Penn Mile. I just mentioned number 4, Mibago, just raced, on June 7th. I think that this horse can kind of sit the trip. And I just think the horse in this race, I'm going to get to Zulu Kingdom. I think the race really sets up for Zulu as well. But there's a lot of buzz just about this Zulu Kingdom. But let's talk about number 5 a little bit more. Has had a couple tough trips with the bumps. I've watched these races here. I think there's more to give. And you're getting Manny Franco. I kind of like that jockey here. And he ran a second under Franco. Now, granted, that was sprinting at Colonial. But let's look at the workouts coming in. Nice, solid, steady workouts for Out on Bail. Going to be in all my exactas and tries. I'm even going to put a win bet on this horse. So number 5 will be right there for me. Let's talk about number 6, Cairo Caper. Was, in this Dream On race, I'm going to be talking about the number 8. I'm going to be fading the 8. I'll be talking about that. Bumped slightly last race and had to use a lot of energy to establish good positioning, this number 6, Cairo Caper. This is a price I'm going to be looking at underneath. this horse because, ran in a grade one at Woodbine. That kind of turned my head a little bit. Ran in the summer, grade one, last September. Now, granted, it was a fifth place finish out of 10 horses, not absolutely terrible. So this horse is kind of well meant to be put into a grade one, and then ran in the Woodhaven last. That's that Dream On race I was talking about. I'm going to be talking about Dream On shortly. And let's see if anybody wants to comment on this next horse too. Is Zulu Kingdom, 7-5. He's the only grade one winner in this race. I think this horse is going to be really tough to beat. I mean, undefeated in 2 starts this year, lightly raced compared to a lot of these horses. Now, I wrote in my comments as I was getting a little ahead of myself is I think this horse has got a big campaign this year ahead, is that he could possibly win this race. I know it's kind of been nominated in a race in Saratoga pretty soon. Hopefully Zulu Kingdom just stays in the Penn Mile. I think could get it easily done. I do like Out on Bail, though, that I was talking about. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to play this one. But this field is not as strong as the other race that we were talking about there with Mibago. I like this, the turf workout you had just last. I mean, Zulu Kingdom's the class, the only grade one winner in the race. Going to sit a perfect trip. You got the speed figures that are just going up, up, up there. And you got the top Pratt jockey with Chad Brown. Going to be right there. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to play this in the end. Dream On is going to be a horse that I'm actually going to fade. 9-2 on the outside here at the Penn Mile. Got a dream trip last time and just held on at the wire. If you watch this replay, I really recommend you guys watching this. I've talked about this Woodhaven a couple of times, is that there's just all these horses came at the wire, and this horse was kind of tiring even at the mile. Now you got the outside post. You got Silvera was on Cairo Caper that day and left the rail open. So the price horse that I like, Silvera, I know this is so tough, right? The jockeys controlling these 1,000-pound animals, but Silvera kind of left the rail open on that one, left a dream on, no pun intended. It was a dream trip for Dream On in this win. I felt like I'm going to be against Dream On at 9-2 on the outside. Let's talk about how I'm going to play it in the big Penn Mile, and I want to hear your plays too. So I'm really hard on 5 and 7. I'm going to go with a win bet on the 5. I really think this horse is going to turn some heads, 5. But I'm going to do a straight exacta of 7 over the 5. So that's how I'm going to play this. Can't do a win bet on Zulu Kingdom. I don't even think you're really going to probably get even money. This horse is going to be probably 4-5, something like that come post time. So I'm going to go 7-5 ice cold exacta in this one. And then maybe with a try, I got to look at states' rights a little bit more. And Cairo Caper, the horse I just mentioned, the price horse, with a try, maybe I can at least sprinkle these horses kind of underneath. That's how I'm going to play this big Penn National, the Penn Mile. And before you know, it's going to be here on Friday, everybody. So let's have a big day in cash. Let's wrap it up here. Really appreciate everybody tuning in here on the Each and Every Stride YouTube channel. Yeah, we've been live for over an hour here. I want to hear the plays coming in, and appreciate everybody. I've just capped 4 races live here, all the turf stakes races. So definitely give me a follow also at Each Every Stride on X Twitter. And then appreciate you guys supporting the channel with the like button and the subscription as well. Thank you so much. And going to go live like this more often. Why not? It's the middle of the week, break up the week. And go look in your place too at the Penn Mile, huge grade 3. I think it's a underrated stepping stone for these turf horses to kind of point towards Penn, actually towards Saratoga after that. It's a great setup. You can race in Penn National there in June and then kind of maybe take a little bit off of July, and then you can go to Saratoga in August, maybe even early August on one of those big stakes days. I really hope Zulu Kingdom's going to race. I think it's a perfect setup. Now, the thing is that this Penn National, the huge Penn Mile Day, has already been postponed twice. The connections could have just said, oh, we're going to pass at this point. This horse has been kind of just chilling for a month waiting for this race. I think he could just gallop over this field. But I do like Out on Bail as at least an exacta candidate with Zulu Kingdom. Also going to have a win bet on the 5. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you so much, Conflict Gaming. Appreciate you, Ross Blacker, the support. Thank you so much, my friend. And Penny Feather, thanks so much. You guys are awesome for checking me out here on the Each and Every Stride YouTube channel. And again, I'm going to be putting out some tweets and, the racing. We got the Stephen Foster this Saturday, too, at Churchill. So it's a great day of racing, with the horse racing. I know the NBA Finals just ended, but the summer is just underway right now. So hope everybody's staying cool. And we got over 100 people watching total on all social media outlets. So that's amazing to see that. Thanks so much. My name's Keith. Give me a follow at Each Every Stride. Until next time, I'll see you in the winner's circle. And let's cash big here this weekend. It's going to be Friday, June 27th for Penn Mile Day. Let's go, everybody. Cheers.